I was born in the Caribbean, and even though I spent the first 30 years of my life here, I know so little about the 7,000 islands that make this area so extraordinary. Stretching from the coast of Florida down to South America, the Caribbean's history and its mix of people and cultures make it like no other place on earth. The pristine private islands, the no-go areas, the stunning beauty, and the violent natural disasters, the Caribbean has it all.
Hi, Sir Trevor.
Good to see you again.
Hi.
How are you? Good to see you. There we go. My goodness me. In this series, my journey takes me 2,000 miles across the entire Caribbean to explore the contrasts of these incredible islands. From communist Havana. It's not quite 8 o'clock yet, and this guy's already on his first cigar for the day. I've heard of people having one island, but never two. To a billionaire's private island.
When you're up close like this, it looks almost like a prehistoric ritual.
I get a rare glimpse of giant turtles laying eggs in Grenada. I track down someone surprising in the Bahamas.
Hitler!
Hello, hello.
How are you? And his brother is Elvis.
Yeah.
Your brother's Elvis.
Yes.
I think that almost makes up for it. And I visit a former paradise wiped out by a massive volcanic eruption. Well, you read about these things, but you never think they have this effect. I can't quite believe it. This is the Caribbean as I have never seen it before. This week, 3 Caribbean islands that typify the striking contrasts in this region. Cuba, the largest of them all, and one of the last bastions of communism in the world. And at the other end of the island chain, one of the most modern and wealthy islands, Trinidad. Blessed with oil reserves and now a sea full of natural gas. It's the island where I was born, and I'll be there for the biggest day in its calendar. But first, a place far removed from communist Cuba or even oil-rich Trinidad. The British Virgin Islands, a little bit of Britain in the middle of the Caribbean Sea. The Queen is still sovereign around these parts, and it's easy to see why Britain is keen to keep an influence here. The natural beauty and its generous tax breaks make these islands a magnet for some of Britain's richest people. The Caribbean offers the chance not just to own an island, but to create a personal paradise. And I was about to meet a man who was one of the first to do just that. Richard Branson built a home here, but he also sells a bit of the Caribbean dream for those who can afford it. Adam Simmons welcomes the super-rich to Necker Island. The price? A cool £30,000 a night.
Necker coming up on the horizon, yeah.
Yeah.
And just passing Mosquito Island. This is Richard's new island here,
Yeah.
where he's going to build his house.
Absolutely beautiful the way it nestles between Mosquito and the rest of Virgin Gorda, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's kind of unique the way that it's out on its own.
And even from here you can see the nice beaches around Necker there.
Yes, that's another thing which does make it unique actually around here is that for the size of the island it does have 2 very beautiful large beaches.
There's Richard, we can see him right at the top there. Right at the top there. There are at least 2 staff members for every guest on the island, each one charged with making Necker a true Caribbean fantasy. And how many guests do you accommodate here?
We take 28 guests, and they basically book the whole island. So this is all theirs. Here we go, and this is the main house here.
Richard.
How are you?
Not too bad. Good to see you.
Lovely to see you guys. Yeah.
Thank you very much for allowing us to come
Come
here.
along in.
Yeah, thank you. This is
The main
wonderful.
room.
This is more than just a holiday home for Richard. For most of the year, this is where he and his family live. He showed me around the house which he started building when he bought the island over 30 years ago. When did you first see
Necker?
Well, I was 26 years old. I was in New York. I was chasing this lovely lady. So I rang up an estate agent, pretended I wanted to buy an island.
So it was a pretense in the first place.
Complete pretense. And the estate agent said, well, you know, we'll lay on a house, we'll lay on a helicopter. And I thought, this is all right. So we pulled out a map, saw where the Virgin Islands were. They looked like in a lovely part of the world. And I persuaded her to come down for the weekend. And we went looking for islands and didn't have the money the wherewithal to buy it. But came back a year or two later and made a few pennies.
And buying an island impressed the lady in question, did it?
It impressed her enough so that she's now the mother of my children, and we've been together for 32 years, so it worked well.
Of course, island buying is no easy game. Necker was totally uninhabited. Everything had to be brought in and built from scratch.
But the other point about it is that you then have to provide all the energy, the water, the electricity.
Yeah, I mean,
the entire lot.
Buying an island. I mean, I bought this.
That's the easy bit.
I bought this island. I think it was for about £60,000. So it was the sort of equivalent of a very, 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 very small house in England.
Yeah.
But there was nothing on it. So it's taken 30 years of love and waiting for Boy George to have a hit, or Phil Collins. I mean, Phil Collins built this part of the island, and the Rolling Stones built Barley High, and as they had hit records, we would carry on developing it.
Sometimes I get up feeling good, but greed gets me down.
Richard was taking me to the Crow's Nest, the best place for the most spectacular views of Necker. This, he assured me, was a view worth paying for, even on a cloudy day.
Well, there is absolutely no question. This is the view.
There's just nowhere more beautiful in the world.
On the day we arrived, Richard's guests were preparing to leave. I was curious to know who would pay £30,000 a night to stay here. Then I met PJ, who was waiting for the helicopter to take her off the island.
How long have you been here?
I've been here we came in for about 3 nights.
3 nights?
Yeah, this little one.
3 nights? Where do you come from for 3 nights?
New York.
From New York for 3 nights here?
Yes.
It's a long way to come just for 3 nights.
Oh, no, it's worth it.
Is it worth it? Yeah.
When PJ comes, she doesn't waste a minute.
No, I don't.
Doesn't go to bed. She's got 1 hour sleep last night, and you got 1 hour.
Oh, so I gather, yeah, so the parties which go on here go on all evening, do they?
Yeah, there's a party every night, which is why I have to retreat.
Yes.
At nearly £100,000 for a 3-day stay, was it any wonder that PJ and her friends wasted little time sleeping during their holiday? And they're not the only ones wanting to buy in to a ready-made Caribbean lifestyle.
So you bought it for about 60,000. If somebody were to offer you to buy this back, it'd be more like 60 million, probably more.
Yeah, no, I think we've had an offer in excess of 200 million. So, but I mean, it's priceless. We'd never sell it. So it's one of those things which is absolutely priceless.
Now you had to make really big decisions in your life about business and so on. Has this been the sort of place where you come and it enables you to quietly think about strategies and to think about what you're going to do next? Have you found it useful in that way?
Yes, I mean my office is the hammock over there. I've always worked from home, and that's meant I've had time to sort of think about the bigger picture and not get bogged down by the minutiae of everything. Yeah, this is my #1 office.
Oh, this is the office. Yes, I can see a lot of hard work being done here.
Well, there's a lot of thinking needed.
Yeah. Especially in a hammock, looking out at this wonderful view.
No, it's not bad.
Yeah, not bad at all. Make sure we don't run over the tortoise.
Go!
Yes.
Go!
Although he owns what many would regard as the ultimate fantasy island, the ever-restless Mr. Branson is now chasing his next Caribbean adventure.
Now we watch it stay, Water.
Your shoes all right?
Yeah.
Necker is not enough. He's now bought the island next door. Necker cost Richard £60,000. 2 years ago, he bought Mosquito for a slightly heftier $10 million. He says he wants to transform it into something unique among the thousands of islands across the Caribbean.
Richard, this is a very rocky bit of Mosquito, isn't it?
This side of the island is, it gets big waves, very dramatic. The other side that we're going around to sort of very Robinson Crusoe sort of beach, and we're going to actually see if we can get your shoes off. If you don't take them off, you're going to get wet. So this may be the first time that
I'm going to do
Sir
everything.
Trevor has ever taken his shoes off on camera.
It's a lovely beach.
It's a beautiful beach. Yeah, we have big, wonderful parties here. Right, roll up your trousers.
Good. Here we go.
Richard has hired some of the world's most eco-friendly architects. Mosquito will aim to be completely self-sufficient, with his own power and water supply. There'll be 11 guest villas, and of course, a new house for the Bransons. Mosquito will sell luxury with an eco-conscience.
And we'll have, again, great views.
Spectacular views.
And this is...
And this is what it will look like. So, Richard, if all this works, you're now going to have 2 islands to choose where you want to spend most of your time. And which will it be?
We, as a matter of principle, we run everything as a business.
You could have a summer home and a winter home.
we could do. But no, Necker, Necker we share. So, and it's run as a business and it employs 70 people. And I'm sure we'll do the same with this island as well.
Yeah, it's a nice position to be in.
It is a nice position to be in.
I've heard of people having 1 island, but never 2.
No, that is true. No, I'm spoiled. I accept that, and I pinch myself every morning. So I'm very.
So
very
you
good
should.
man.
So you should.
I do.
It had been an eye-opening day with Richard Branson on his 2 islands, and I left with a slight tinge of envy about the lifestyle of a man who runs a multi-billion-pound empire from a hammock. The Caribbean is an area of extremes. I left Richard's private Paradise Islands and headed to a place where billionaires are non-existent. Only 90 miles off the coast of America lies one of the last communist countries in the world, Cuba.
Hi, Juan.
At Havana Airport, I was met by Juan Jacomino Castellano, a local journalist. My taxi was a very smart Chevy built, would you believe it, in 1957. Havana was going to be an adventure. As part of my journey across the Caribbean, I had just arrived in the Cuban capital, Havana. When Fidel Castro overthrew the Batista government and imposed a communist regime here 50 years ago, the Americans enforced a trade embargo which, amazingly, lasts to this day. As a result, most things here are half a century old, including many of the cars. The entire city is enveloped by a sense of faded elegance. Buildings once grand and magnificent show signs of weary neglect. Juan, the local journalist, was showing me around in a car that is even older than the communist revolution.
Who lives in these buildings now?
Regular people. As a matter of fact, this is my neighborhood.
Uh-huh.
I live about 6 or 8 blocks from here.
Okay.
This is a working class neighborhood.
But when you say working class, aren't all Cubans more or less
Yes,
working class?
What I mean is more of the factory industry type workers.
I see. Because it is true that everybody is equal in what they earn. Is that right?
It is true. It is true.
How do you find that one? Is that a good idea?
It has its pros and cons.
I should say.
The professionals are suffering. Say a doctor
Yeah.
needs to live on his salary, while if you drive a taxi, you probably make more money.
America makes it difficult for its citizens to come here, but Cuba thrives on tourism. Every year, millions come from all over the world, bringing in the hard currency that helps to keep the country going. Despite its isolation, Cuba prides itself on having one of the best health systems in the world. The average life expectancy here is 78, as good as in the United States. But the hand of the state is everywhere. The television stations, like the rest of the media, are under strict government control. I went to meet one of the country's main news presenters, interested to see how different daily life was for my Cuban counterpart.
Hello.
Hello, sir.
Oh, very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you.
It's a pleasure.
You're just preparing to go on.
Yes, yes.
You go on in about an hour.
At 1 o'clock.
At 1 o'clock.
Mariuszka Diaz has been reading the news for 4 years. She took me on a tour of her news studio.
Well, this is a place.
Oh, this is the control room.
The control.
How do you? Very well. Thank you. Everybody wants to kiss you.
I think so.
It doesn't happen to newsreaders in my part of the world, I must confess. So could I see where you sit? You sit there?
Have a seat, please.
Ah, thank you. Well, I've achieved a great ambition to sit on the set of a Cuban television station.
It's an honor.
It's a great honor for me. And are you very famous in Cuba? Does everybody know you?
So.
But do they stop you in the street and do they ask you for autographs? Do they ask you to sign things for them?
Well, I have to work in all programs in Cuban television. And,
Yes.
People know me.
So everybody knows you?
Yes, I think so.
Yes.
There is no celebrity culture here, with the exceptions perhaps of Fidel Castro and the ubiquitous Che Guevara.
People who work in television, are they enormously well paid? Do they get a lot of money?
No way. Like other people.
And you do another job in the evenings?
Well, at nights, I have to go to a cultural place called Gato Tuerto.
Do you do that because you want to or because you think you have to?
Well, I want to and I have to.
Because
I
of the
need
money?
it.
You need the money?
Yes, of course.
The news studio is purely functional. The presenters put on their own makeup as they prepare for the lunchtime bulletin.
Oh, so the top story is the president in Russia, and there's some word from Fidel Castro too. That's the second story. Now, we have a tradition in the UK of ending the news with something slightly funny, something slightly jokey, something which is, idiosyncratic and out of the ordinary.
Well, sometimes...
Do you do that?
Yes, we do that. Sometimes we do that.
I'm delighted to know that the "and finally" tradition lives on in Cuba too.
But there were no amusing and finally stories in the Cuban news that day. The bulletin ended with a report about the 35th anniversary of a school named after the communist icon, Vladimir Ilyich Lenin. 5 o'clock next morning, and Havana is a hive of activity. This is a local collection point for workers heading into the city. The government says the unemployment rate is only around 2%. The biggest employer by far is the state. It provides jobs for over 3/4 of the working population. I joined one group of workers as they clocked on in one of the state's biggest factories, making a rather well-known Cuban specialty, cigars. The Partagas factory has been making cigars for over 150 years and is the oldest in Cuba. The 600 employees make 3 million cigars a year by hand. I accompanied one of the workers, Lazaro, as he prepared for his 8-hour shift.
You have many friends here?
Yeah, sure.
He seemed extremely popular.
This is one of my friends.
Ah, hello.
Hugo.
Lazaro, you know everybody here.
And this is my best friend.
Oh, this is... So do you always greet all those people coming in like that?
Yeah, every time I go in.
Are they all your friends?
Say hi to all, yeah. You know, 8 hours working together. So now we can go to the raw material department.
You're picking up your stuff?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it.
Every day, Lazaro collects his daily quota of tobacco leaves. During the course of his shift, he will turn them into some of the world's finest cigars.
Tell me something. Is this just the binding?
This is the binder,
Yeah.
you know, the salt wrapper.
But for how many cigars do you think this will be then?
I can show you here.
Yeah.
See? 53 binders.
Yeah.
And 50 the filler.
Okay.
Taking his allocation of leaves, he fills them with fine tobacco and rolls them to produce cigars that sell for £30 each in the West. That's more than Lazaro's entire monthly wage packet.
Yeah, the workers, they can smoke as much as they want. It's not quite 8 o'clock yet, and this guy's already on his first cigar for the day.
Despite the constant chatter and the relaxed atmosphere, the work rate seemed impressive. As a one-time cigar smoker, my resolve was already being sorely tested. Then, something unusual. The chatter stopped and everyone stood to attention. It was time for the national anthem. After chants of Viva la Revolution, the workers returned to their day's task. But then another surprise. The morning's newspaper is read to them, as one of the workers, Ellie, explains.
He reads every day the newspaper.
So for those people who don't have the time to read it, he comes and reads the news. It's an excellent idea. It keeps everybody informed.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
but it's not only that. He reads even in the afternoon at 1:30. He starts reading a book.
Oh, he reads a book.
Every day a chapter.
Well, what kind of books are they?
Well,
Novels or political
so-
journals? Or?
It doesn't matter. 3 months ago, he finished reading the Da Vinci Code
He read the Da Vinci Code here.
for a long time.
Ellie bought over the book reader to show me what the workers are rolling cigars to this month. It wasn't exactly a bestseller.
Yes, I can see it's about the history of Egypt and Ramesses and so on. But this is a substantial book. It's going to take some time. How many weeks will this take?
¿Cuánto tiempo llevas leyendo el libro?
Bueno, empecé aproximadamente hace como 4 meses.
He has been reading for 4 months.
For 4 months?
Yeah.
Y se leen 10 páginas diarias.
And he reads every day 10 pages.
Oh, 10 pages every day.
Imagine reading a book about the history of ancient Egypt to factory workers in Britain. Little has changed in the production line here in half a century. It still relies on men and women rather than robots and machines, as I discovered when Ellie showed me the other stages of the cigar-making process, like removing the veins from the tobacco leaves.
They have to remove every day about 500 leaf veins every day.
So it's done very delicately.
That's why most of them are ladies.
Well, he's a man and he's doing it perfectly well.
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
And these are the boxes we know. These boxes are so familiar. They look so lovely. Looking at this reminds me of the pleasure I once had of opening up one of these boxes. It's a lovely feeling.
Yeah, you get it. You will get it.
27 different varieties of cigars are produced here, exported to countries around the world, except, of course, America, where the trade embargo means that Cuban cigars remain unobtainable. And then, the moment I'd been dreading.
Want to try?
It's enough to make me a smoker again. I think I'll just... Oh,
Try it.
it's wonderful.
This is a wonderful cigar. Don't
Wonderful.
be afraid.
No, I know. I gave them up a long time ago, and I must not
Just
return.
one puff.
I must
Only
not
one.
return.
Do it for me.
Wonderful.
It's an amazing cigar.
Wonderful.
Now you're going to start smoking for sure.
I hope not.
I left behind the luxurious aroma, the book reader, and the constant chatter of the factory, with a genuine admiration for the camaraderie among the workers. It seemed to me that Cuba's isolation has instilled in its people a real sense of national pride. But I was about to see a side of the country which to us in Britain would seem unimaginable today. Cuba feels like an island of stark contrasts. Beautiful city squares and grand colonial buildings overlook scenes of real poverty. But everywhere, I found people fiercely proud to be Cuban. And nowhere more so than in the numerous bars and clubs of Havana. I was meeting up again with Mariushka, one of Cuba's main newsreaders. After her day in the studio, it was time for her evening job, MC at this local nightclub.
Good to see you too.
So this is the evening job.
Oh yes, welcome. This is the Cafe Concert,
Yes.
Gato Tuerto.
Yes?
Very nice place. You'll see.
And what time do you start?
In 5 minutes.
In 5 minutes?
In 5 minutes.
I was impressed that Mariushka was as commanding a presence in this downtown club as she was in her news studio.
Welcome, sir. This is a very special place. Here you will enjoy the performance of our best singers.
The next day, I tried to find out a little more of what daily life is like for people in communist Cuba. I went to see Juan, who had been showing me around the city.
Hi, morning, Juan.
Morning, Trevor.
Good to see you again.
Good to see you.
I wanted to find out how much it costs to live in a two-bedroom flat close to the center of Havana.
What does this cost you?
No, not very, very little indeed, Trevor, because the price of apartments in Cuba is government price. So this apartment with 2 bedrooms, kitchen, living room as you see, bathroom of course, had the price was about 4,000 Cuban pesos, which in dollars was about $200 US.
And the rent?
Oh, I don't pay rent because I paid the full amount of the price of the apartment. So I don't pay rent. I don't pay for this apartment.
So you virtually kind of bought this place?
I bought it. It's mine now. It's mine, but I can only sell it back to the government, which I bought it from, because the government doesn't want me to make money out of them.
So you now own this 2-bedroom flat, which you bought for $200, and this is yours now?
That's correct, sir.
But flats are not the only thing the government subsidizes. Every month, Juan has to pick up his food allocation.
Very nice neighborhood.
Every neighborhood has a government shop or bodega where people collect their rations.
There are grocery stores all around the block, the neighborhood, so that they are conveniently located.
Okay.
Our filming trip in Cuba had been carefully monitored, so I wasn't too surprised to find waiting for us an official from the Ministry of Internal Trade.
Ministry of Internal Trade.
Aha.
They heard we were coming. And they
I
wanted
see.
to.
So you've come to see what he's doing?
Que si viniste a ver lo que hacía.
Sí.
So what's this book?
Well, this is the actual Russian book.
And it records what you...
So it records, you can read rice, grains.
It makes a record of everything you get?
Record of everything I get per month, and they mark.
Okay.
The big board shows what people will get this month, and the cost of these subsidized goods.
This is meant for 11 million Cubans getting 5 pounds of rice every month from the time they are born until they die. We eat rice as if we were Chinese, Trevor. Okay. We eat a lot of rice.
And food is not the only thing that's subsidized.
You get free cigarettes?
Getting subsidized free cigarettes, which is...
Not too sure that's a very good idea.
And matches.
Subsidized cigarettes and matches.
Yeah, everybody. The bodegueros are quite a character in Cuban neighborhoods.
Yes.
There are even songs about the bodegueros.
Oh, really? Because they're so important?
They're very important. They're key.
There may not be a huge variety on the shelves, but it's certainly affordable.
You have to pay now. Mustn't forget that.
Okay.
But all this, 1 month's supply for you and your wife, has cost you, at least this lot, under $2.
Under $2.
Under $2 American.
Way under $2, yes. No problem. No, I'll carry this.
That's all right.
Well, this is...
Food rationing is a daily reality in Cuba. But what about other goods? Juan took me to Havana's equivalent of the Lakeside Shopping Center. We went to the biggest electrical goods store in the country. All that was missing here were some electrical goods.
Consumerism not encouraged in Cuba. Cuba doesn't want to be a consumer society.
I see.
But a society where people meet their basic needs.
So consumerism is not encouraged here?
It is not encouraged. It's actually discouraged.
The government puts a massive tariff on many electrical goods. As a result, the cost of a television is more than Juan paid for his flat.
The average salary, as I understand it, is about $20 a month. So that it's...
More or less. But
more or less. So it's very difficult to buy something like this.
Yes.
Yes.
The Cuban government also bans the sale of some electrical goods outright. Bizarrely, you can't buy a toaster in Cuba.
Good evening. Nice to see you again.
On my final evening in Havana, Juan and I went to dinner with Lazaro and Ellie, who we'd met at the cigar factory.
One more flight of stairs.
One more flight of stairs. Makes you look forward to whatever the place is.
Well, I hope you like it as much as we do.
We went to La Garida, the city's finest restaurant. Typically Cuban, it's housed in a crumbling old mansion. It must have been glorious in its heyday. Even faded grandeur has a certain charm.
Why do you sit here?
I wondered whether the era of a new American president would bring meaningful change to Cuba.
The sum total of what I get here is that you'd like to see some change, but Cuba very much wants to preserve what it thinks it has, which is very individual to this country and a value, and you don't want to see that dispensed with.
This is my country. Please don't interfere. That's something I never understood. Or so many people trying to say, no, you have to do this, you have to do... No, it's not like that.
Does the image that you had of Cuba coincide with what you saw in Cuba?
It's a much, much better place than I ever thought. It's much better run, people are more friendly, and Havana is a much more fascinating city than I ever thought it could be. Well, I think that's a splendid way to end an evening in Havana.
Yeah. Thank you. Yes, I think so.
I felt this place evokes in the visitor a real feeling of old-world romance. People I met seemed anxious to embrace change, but it appeared to me that they wanted it only on their own terms. Leaving Havana, I headed 1,500 miles south to the island where I was born. I was on my way to Trinidad, the island where I grew up. At the end of a long Caribbean chain, Trinidad and Tobago sit just 7 miles off the coast of South America. My father came here from nearby Grenada, lured, like so many others before him, by jobs in the oil industry, which has made Trinidad one of the richest islands in the Caribbean. It's also the most multicultural in the region. The population are descendants of African slaves who were brought here to work on the sugar plantations, and Indians who were brought by the British after the abolition of slavery. But people from almost every other race are represented here. Trinidad gained its independence in 1962, but it's always had a robust sense of its own identity. And nowhere is this more evident than on the biggest day in Trinidad's calendar, Carnival. The Trinidad Carnival rivals any celebration anywhere in the world. Numerous bands make up the carnival. Each one has its own social or historical theme and could contain up to 1,000 people. This year, the Africa Band is the biggest. These girls will be on their feet for 15 hours or more.
What's that? Oh, sun stuff.
Yeah.
You might need it today.
Yeah, just might.
Because it's going to be a few hours in the sun. What about tiredness? Do you ever get tired carrying all this stuff?
You may get a bit tired, but music keeps it
Working
going.
tomorrow?
Me, no.
I didn't think so somehow. Why did I guess no?
I don't know. They ain't seen me till next week.
Oh, till next week?
No,
You're gonna take...
yeah, next week, Monday.
Next
they'll see
Monday.
me, yeah.
Right. Yes.
I could.
The bands are spectacular. The elaborate costumes can be costly.
How much does that a costume like that cost?
Oh, my costume is 10,000.
10,000 TT dollars, which is roughly about 1,000 English pounds. Yeah. Wow.
No, but you need to go down to your waist.
Oh, to my waist. Oh, I see. Oh, gosh.
It's too big for it. No. You have to step into it.
Too much work in the gym, you see. That's what it is. There you go. Now, here you are. Ah, now that's better. Oh, my goodness me. Slim waist, you see, that's the thing. Yep, okay. This is quite a performance. There we go, my goodness me. And now, complete, a bit of movement. That's amazing. This is a first.
Carnival and its costumes are quintessentially Trinidadian, as is its instantly recognizable musical instrument, the steel drum.
How long does that go on until it looks like a half-decent pan?
Roughly, I would say about 3 hours.
3 hours?
Yeah.
Yes. Do you still have your hearing after that?
Yeah.
When it reaches 9 inches,
Yeah.
what we do, we put in the measurements of the notes, okay? We do the layout, the
Right.
configuration, okay?
Roland Harrigan makes the steel drums that are the very heartbeat of Carnival.
And what notes are these? I mean, are these musical notes? So you have
It's musical notes.
C and D and
yeah, no, yeah,
E,
yeah. Okay, like, for instance,
Like the notes on a
this
piano.
This is like D, 2 Ds, you got a A flats, you got C.
Can you work that out just from seeing it?
Yeah, yeah.
You know
yeah.
this is A flat.
Yeah.
And these two are Ds.
Yeah, these two.
It's amazing that you can tell the notes just by looking at them. I think that's extraordinary.
Well, to you it would be amazing, but to me it's
You do
natural.
it all the time.
Yeah, we do it all the time. All right, Trevor.
Ah, now here are the instruments.
This is where I do my finished product.
Yeah.
As you can see.
His drums are in demand all over the world, where they can fetch up to £1,000 each. He showed me how he went about fine-tuning the instruments.
You must see beauty, see and feel beauty. You can't be angry and come and say that you're going to handle this. It won't work. You got to see beauty.
So you have to be in the right mood.
You always have to be in the right mood. And
you can't have had a quarrel or a fight before.
No, you got to be close, in a serious way. You got to be close to God in order to achieve this, because it's through Him.
Oh, that's a bit going too far.
No. He created this. They didn't go in a bit too far. It's going quite correct, sir.
I must confess, I never thought about theology in the business of the steel.
It's a spiritual thing, man. It's a drum. It's a dumb drum you're putting life in. I can't do that.
I take
it's
your
through
word.
the master. It's through the master. You know, I'm just the vehicle to do this thing. So you hit this is C, hit D.
These days, teaching the steel drum is part of the national curriculum. Sadly, it was not in my day.
See, that was easy.
Even I could do it.
Yeah.
After months of planning, Carnival hits the streets. Trinidad is actually a fairly conservative society, but not during Carnival. As even our sound man discovered.
You having a good time?
Oh, we always have a good time.
Have you always played with this band?
No, it's the first time with this band.
First time?
First time with this band.
Are you already planning next year or not?
We live here, so every year we look forward to next year. That's why I came here.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
Have a great carnival.
Carnival goes back 200 years to when the island's British rulers held annual masked balls. Banned from joining in, the slaves came up with their own version, mimicking their masters' parties with costumes and masks. When slavery was abolished, Carnival came out into the open and onto the streets.
Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
Are you back next year?
Absolutely, without a doubt.
Good
Even if I'm dead, I'll be here in spirit.
Well, I hope you're here.
I am going to be here.
Watching the festival this year brought back for me a flood of warm memories. For 2 days, Trinidadians put all their problems behind them and lose themselves with abandon in a riot of noise and color. They know there'll be a more sober tomorrow, but that simply means 364 days till the next carnival.
I'll play your favorite song, darling. We can rock it all night long, darling. 'Cause I've got to love, darling. Love.